Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I'm Conostip and this is going to be part 35 of my early campaign where I'm playing as England. And I'm just going to be continuing to play City Builder here with my Empire, which is pretty safe at this point. I don't feel too threatened in any direction, despite the fact that I am currently still at war with 3 factions. But I think that all 3 factions are just down to 1 province. The Aragonese just have the 1 province, the French just have Champagne, and the Mongols just have Syria. Yes, they do. And then my allies, the Byzantines, they're hanging on, although they are being beset by the Poles. They're pushing pretty hard into Bulgaria at this point, and they're strong enough. They could continue to push on into Constantinople if they choose to do so. And it's unfortunate because the Byzantines, in classic fashion, they are really garrisoning their province. Their frontier provinces, even though they're neighboring me, you know, their ally, which is just a really annoying thing in this game. But it's too bad they can't like realize that and go, okay, let's fight the enemy that's fighting us. The good news is the papacy is also at war with the Poles, and that has led to the Poles being excommunicated. And I'm curious to see, you know, it's a funny thing because would be common sense that excommunication does cause issues like loyalty or public order issues for Catholic factions, but I'm not sure exactly, first off, if that's true. Now, what we don't know, or at least me, what I don't know, is this having an effect on public order? And if it's having an effect on public order, is this related just to the percentage of the religion? Or does zeal have a play in this as well? Or is it both, or is it one or the other? Or is it not the loyalty of the province, is it just the loyalty of the generals themselves? And I feel like, I mean, look at this. I mean, I don't think I've ever noticed generals' loyalty dipping because their king has been excommunicated. And I guess, I mean, just looking around, I guess this proves that that's not the case, right? But then, I mean, then we look around and we go, well, is it the loyalty of the province? Because here's Carpathia, right? There's one unit of 25, it's a 25-man unit of mounted sergeants. That's not enough. That should not be enough to keep the loyalty high here. Very high taxes. And they do have a border fort, so that's giving like a plus 15% happiness boost, I think. And then I don't think any other building here is giving a happiness boost. I think it is just going to be the border fort. So that's 10% from the watchtower, then 5% for the border fort, so 15% in total. Zeal's at 62%. Catholicism is at 100%. So for excommunicated faction, you would think that this province would be having some issues. You know? They're at 107%, so like it's not, you know, super great, but it's, you know, it's above 100, you know? And yeah, here in Wallachia, they got 135%. Not too many soldiers, but 181, so it's a bit more, right? Any other like examples of... See, they have, it's a pretty good spread, right? They have forces kind of everywhere. What about down here? Yeah, they're kind of covered. I think Carpathia is just the only like really good example of the issues that they're not having, right? You know, that they don't seem to be really struggling with that excommunication. So I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Like, does this really seem to matter? I don't know if it does. I really don't. Because even in all of my experiences where I've not been playing a Western European faction, and I've seen France just come to dominate the entire continent, and of course they're excommunicated because they're just killing Catholics the entire time. And I've noticed, you know, super high loyalty generals, because that seems to be linked just to the influence of the king himself, not the papal status, the status of the king's soul, you know? And, yeah, I don't know. Of course, like, these big empires typically do implode, you know, eventually, oftentimes. So maybe that is from this. Maybe when that happens, you can say, you can point to excommunication, but it's hard. I feel like I have seen messages. Isn't there a message that comes up during a certain type of rebellion that says this is a religious rebellion, and it's linked possibly to the fact that the king has recently been excommunicated? I'm not making that up, am I? I'm pretty sure that is a message that we do see. So, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it, I suppose. And this is one reason why I like to have agents everywhere, because I like to watch this and to monitor it and see if I can learn and see if I can learn how these systems do interact and what's happening here. Let me do a quick scan of the zeal, these places. So we're looking at like 20% here in Khazar, 23% in Volga, Bulgaria. So the zeal's not very high out to the east, right? Because these are like pagan / Orthodox places. Although they're Catholic. That's probably because of my bishops, honestly, causing that. And all right, zeal's getting a bit higher here, and then yeah, Wallachia is pretty high. Oh wait. No, it's 20%. Okay. Yeah, the zeal's not super high in these places, so I wonder if that would, you know, mean that they're not gonna suffer from excommunication. Yeah, 7%. That's not high. 74% here in Poland. Okay. Well, you know what I could do then? Because I have a lot of Inquisitors. Now I did not, I switched them out. I did not bring them here. I brought them down to Spain to cause issues down here. But Spain they have issues now. They're going through a civil war. They don't own Castile or Portugal, or I think that's it. But the Italians have muscled their way in, and by muscle I mean like moneyed their way in. They've like bought the rebels here in Leon and Morocco, which is hilarious. I love that. It might be an overextension. The Italians might just get swarmed, but they're not currently at war with the Spanish because they haven't attacked them. They just bought the rebels that were the Civil War faction. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how the Italians do manage that. The Italians are currently not at war with the papacy now. It's just the Germans, and the Germans are pretty weak. They're not. They do have a consolidated empire here, which is actually something. Hey, that's not nothing, right? But they don't seem to be able to really do much against the Italians. And then there's these rebels here in Toulouse as well. Yeah, this is from the Italian Civil War, I believe. Yeah, that's a lot of troops the Italians lost, which is too bad for them. So I don't feel too threatened by the Spanish. Okay, so these forces need to do something. They're kind of stuck here in Navarre. They could go out here and retake Castile. I don't know why they haven't. They should be able to. Yeah, alongside their forces here in Valencia as well. Okay. So for now, I'm going to continue just to... I think I do want to bring my Inquisitors up to the Polish territories just to kind of experiment and see if that can cause issues with the excommunication, maybe. We'll see. That is something that I can play around with. Other than that, I'm probably not going to be doing too much other than just playing City Builder, as I was saying before. Just because, and I know I've said this before, but it's just a reminder. We're at episode 35 for this campaign, and I do want to get through this. And battles can take a long time in this campaign. Battles, you know, when you start fighting battles, it might just be like 1 or 2 turns per episode. And that's what we saw for the majority of the early part of this campaign. So that's why that took so long, which is fine. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I learned a lot about crusades during that. But it is time to get a move on, and as long as I feel comfortable with my points, I do want to get a move on and try to get through this campaign. The Poles, now I was reminded that the Poles are making a massive amount of points. That is a lot of points. So that's 8, 16, 24, 32 points per counting period. That's a lot. that is an enormous amount. I'm still making some points though, so it's not nothing. So we'll stay ahead of them for a while, and I'm curious to see if we will be getting some other glorious achievements objectives at some point, because we've just had homelands and conquest, I think, since the start of the high period, I think. I know that at some point there's like a wool trade objective, I thought, that was shared between the English, the Danes, and the Germans. You have to kind of compete between the three of them, which of course I would win because I have insane trade right now. So I wonder when that's going to kick in. And I'm not really, I'm just kind of training. I'm just building some bombards just in case I need to use them at some point. And eventually I will be getting some better ships once I think I need to get this Citadel, I think, before I can get those better boats, I think. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. And I was given some advice in regards to when I was asking about the size of garrisons for these settlements and any ideas for army compositions for these smaller garrisons that I eventually do want to do. And I was told, first off, thanks Elf for the advice. I love hearing all the tips and suggestions from you, because they're gold, you know, and they really do speak to a different type of playstyle, right? Like, you've really inspired me to try different things with this game, and instead of just doing this, right? And one of the ideas was just use like really elite units of knights, right? Like, you can dismount feudal knights and they can become a really good sword unit, and then you can dismount chivalric knights too, which I don't have yet, but they become a very good polearm unit, one of the best polearms units in the game. Now, these units are smaller units. They're not going to be the 60-man unit of typical infantry, but they're going to be 40-man units. But they're going to count as 80 people or 80 mouths to feed for the garrison purposes of these settlements. So, like, you know, you have to feed the horse too, even if they're just mounted. But I think that's a great idea, because I like just using those guys and then just getting some organ guns. That'd be a lot of fun, I think. Maybe some guns too. But keeping it very small, keeping it so that the garrison at least is going to last 3 turns is the advice that I was given. At least 3 turns, 3 years. And that should make the enemy, you know, be provoked into attacking. So that's good. I like that. Now, am I ready for that? No. For now, I do, like I said, I do want to get through some more campaign first. Like, we're only at the year 1276, so I want to, you know, get through some more of this before I do start to consider that. And, you know, because yes, getting some good fights in will be great. That'll be a lot of fun. But, you know, not for the next, what, like 170 years, like that, you know, 100. That's a lot of like, all right, we're fighting every turn now. Let's not do that. Let's get a bit more into this campaign before that happens. And I do have another question though, Elf, if you're watching. Something, so like, when do you just like build up to fortress level before you do that? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that since having a place get invaded does interrupt the build cycle, and it, you know, gets rid of the building that's in the process of being built, which sucks. So do you just build up to fortresses first before you do that? Because, you know, why would you risk letting a building get canceled? I that's what I would do. I mean, but again, you know, that obviously takes time. So I'm probably going to be doing that here in Palestine. Do I need anything else here? Monastery, gunsmith's workshop would be cool, but let's just get a citadel and start working on that. Yeah, that looks okay. And then I'm getting the church here in Odessa. Okay. And then I can get the master horse breeder here in Aquitaine for that +1 valor. for the cavalry that I train here. In this case, it's the Hoblars, but yeah, it's a good building. Valor's wonderful. And then, oh, something, okay, so this is one thing about that I think is really fun about playing like other Total War games and then learning from future games and then seeing, wait a minute, was that feature available in the previous games and I just didn't know about it? So here's an example of that. This has happened before, but like this is a really fun one where someone gave me the advice for Rome Total War that if I'm in the middle of building a building and then I decide to change it, I'm like, shit, I need to build something else instead. And I don't have to cancel this building. I can just put a build order in and then switch it around. And then, did I lose my progress on this? Nope, it's still there. That's so cool. I didn't know. No one told me that for this game. No, or maybe if you did, then I forgot and I'm sorry. But, yeah, I was giving that advice for Rome Total War and I was like, wait a minute, is that always been that way? You know, because this is like the same screen. You know, the building screen hasn't changed since Shogun, so I thought maybe it's the same, and it is. It's totally the same. So if you didn't know that, there you go. You're welcome. Because I didn't know that. That was great. That's very useful. That's so like, yeah, the amount of times that you get like, you know, halfway through a 16-turn building, you're like, I should go in a different direction. Well, you can just do that. That's great. That's that's so useful. I love that. Yeah, I love that so much. All right, so is there anything? Yeah, okay, so I just have to move my Inquisitors up to the Polish territories. I probably have enough Inquisitors for all of their territories. But other than that, yeah, I'm probably just gonna chill until I can get some cool boats, and then I can start building whatever that I think is cogs will be the next tier. Yeah, we'll see. The very next turn, my heir, Prince Richard, has come of age, so we will check on him. Hard sums. So +1 acumen. All right, that's good. And are there any generals here with any traits? No, nothing too important, it appears. So let's check you out. So 2-star generals, plenty of loyalty. Yeah, that's lovely. And then 4 acumen. Yeah, so maybe you can make a good governor at some point once you are no longer in the family succession line. And you have to, with that loyalty, you can be actually put to work as well. Currently, I do like the generals that I have on my front lines, so maybe I don't really have a place for you. But I can get my emissaries to work and trying to find a wife for you for sure. All of my other sons are married at this point, I think. I should just double check, I think. Oh, you're the next in line. Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. I was worried that Prince Edmund, I couldn't tell. He's 35 and then his older brother's 40, like 50? Yeah, 50. So like I wasn't sure. So that's, yeah, nice. So Prince Richard, yeah, we got to get you married now. And that's also good because that means that he only has Prince John as his brother currently. And then he has all of these uncles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 uncles. So they're not going to be part of, so this is what I was worried about was that when you have, if these were all brothers, then what would happen is that once the eldest one becomes the next king, and then if he has 5 other brothers, then there's only room for 1 more son at that point, because there can only be 6 heirs at any one point, which is unfortunate. Like I understand why the game designers wanted to cap the amount of heirs, but like heirs as in, you know, sons, not just brothers and sons, would have made more sense. But I'm assuming the game doesn't really see those two things separately. So you can have like a silly situation where you have like 5 brothers, but your king can only have 1 son for his entire life. And it's like, all right, well, now things are really dicey with only 1 guy in charge, you know. It's until his son comes of age, which can be really dicey. But in any case, we'll be finding a wife for him, and because he just has 1 brother as of now, he should be fine. Yeah, he should be okay. And I imagine, let's see, the Germans, yeah, we're not at war with the Germans, and there are a couple of German princesses in the neighborhood. Do we have emissaries in the neighborhood, or are they all overseas spying on stuff? I think they're all spying on stuff. So let's bring them. Let's see, where are you? Yeah, they're all over here. I mean, I guess there's plenty of princesses in this area as well. So we can talk to the Italians. That's one. Who are you? You're my inquisitor. No princesses there. The Aragonese are they'll probably say no. We're still at war, so they would probably not like that. Oh shoot. Looks like the Byzantines are dealing with their own civil war. Yeah, that's too bad. Dang. Dang. That's really going to weaken them. They are already struggling with the Poles, but that's really going to make things difficult. The Poles are probably going to take Constantinople. Yeah, looks like it. And they've taken Trebizond as well. Jesus Christ. Man. Poles are going ham right now. I mean, if they want to take out the Byzantines, I can cause that reemergence. I would just... The thing is that these factions that have island territories oftentimes end up with a reemergence on those islands, and then they never leave those islands. Like Sicily does the same thing, which is like, it's too bad. Or Italy will do it on Sardinia or Corsica, and it's like, damn, so they're just stuck there now. So I wouldn't want that. I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, sure, I know the Poles are looking dangerous right now, but I'm not going to overreact to it and start a war against them right now, just because they could, so much could happen. Like they could implode, or I could fight them and I could spend, the next 5 to 10 episodes fighting them and going to war against them, and they could go away. And then there could be another Polish reemergence just right away with plenty of game still remaining. So that seems kind of pointless. Now that I have the Bell Foundry finished here in Normandy, I'm able to now build the Cannon Foundry. And so this is, as the techniques needed to make guns are mastered, a cannon foundry is a sensible specialization to produce nothing but weaponry. The drop casting of large tubes takes skill and patience, or else the end result will be flawed. A rushed job also has its risks for the workers. So the possible upgrades are going to be the Master Foundry, and this is going to allow me to train demi-culverins, which is kind of like the going to be the first solid, good, just normal cannon type of weapon available to the Catholics. Yeah, the Muslims. The Muslims have the I think it's just called the demi-cannon, I think. And the culverin, so their stats are pretty similar. The culverin, I think, is just I think it's just more accurate and then longer range. And then the cannons are stronger, I think. They do have different stats, so of course you don't see them in game. You have to go to the online Wikipedia for that. But yes, so in addition to that, as long if you have the Cannon Foundry as well as the Shipbuilders Guild, then you can also produce cogs, which is going to be the third tier ship that's available to the Catholic factions. And this is where I'm a little bit confused, because I'm trying to remember. Gosh, I hope I don't have to pull out that wiki right now. Why can't I build the Shipbuilders Guild here in Normandy? I have a citadel. I have the dockyard. And then the Shipbuilders Guild just requires the compass event, which we've already had, I'm pretty sure, right? Right? Yeah. So where's the Shipbuilders Guild? I don't think that I need a fortress to build that. That would be very high tier stuff. Would I require a cannon foundry to build the Shipbuilders Guild? Maybe. I guess I'll find out. I'll just build that, and in 8 turns, I'll know the answer. We have ourselves a new message here. So banking houses have been invented now, so usury or lending money for profit is often considered a sin. With the rise of moneyed families who are prepared to lend to merchants, look after those same merchants' surplus cash, and even transfer money between branches of the family in different provinces. is a vital advance for trade. And I don't... I actually don't know if that... Does that actually increase income at all? Or is that just kind of a little fluff message? I can check my income. I am pretty sure it was like it's sitting around like 10 grand before, so... If there's a increase, I haven't really been training any units, so like we should know. Lord Gascon, magnificent builder, and he has a governor, so that's always good to have. Plus in happiness, plus 2 loyalty, and then anyone else of significance here? Nope, 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 and nope. All right, so let's check income. No, I don't think that message did anything. 10 grand is kind of exactly where it was before, so. Unless there was unless we're being blockaded somewhere, but I don't think so. I haven't seen. I mean, my enemies are so weak that yeah, we're open for business. Yeah, we're making money. We now have ourselves another heir here. This is going to be Prince John, and it looks like he's going to be another 2-star general by the looks of it. And heatedness, that's unfortunate. Yeah, he's a little overweight, -1 valor. And then Prince Edward, this is going to be one of my current king's younger brothers, Numerit. Yeah, he's quite good. 4-star general, +2 acumen. Yeah, he's a good one. He might be worth considering for governorship of some place. I can take a peek, actually. How good are you? Oh, okay, not... Acumen's not great. He just has the 2 acumen from that one trait. But still, 4 stars is 4 stars. And then how is your loyalty, Prince John? 16 years old? Yeah, plenty of loyalty. So your influence must be... It's not super high. Yeah, it's 5. Like, it's okay. But I feel like our this king's sons are actually kind of decent. Like, it's, you know, it's okay. It's fine. And, with that being said, I can probably put you somewhere. Do I just want to bring you to Ile-de-France, maybe? You can lead one of the armies over there. Now, this is a little interesting here. We have some unrest in Saxony. This is a few turns later. And this probably has been caused by my spy, I would imagine. It's a small rebellion, but it is being led by a 2-star general, which is interesting. And the Polish have been excommunicated again. Yeah, the old Pope did die, but I think that was just last turn, so I think they just got excommunicated immediately. And yeah, we're causing inquisitions here in Georgia, and 100 people have killed. Zeal is diminishing. Yeah, a lot of inquisitions. Citadel finished here in Wessex. Okay, and yes, improved farmland here in Northumbria. That might be one of my last 80% farmland that have been finished, possibly. Okay, and then Prince Edmund's secret gluttony. Man, that's bad. -3 valor. That's a bad one. Okay, I want to just check here. How is Georgia's? So Zeal's at 24%. Loyalty is still sitting at 121. Okay, so we can see if we can raise that. I just want to check this out. Yeah, yep. So Zeal's rising, but it's not. It's nothing too crazy yet. What about out here, out in the west? So the fact that their taxes are on normal rather than very high does say something to me, potentially. Yeah, it looks like the higher the zeal, they are having to lower their taxes, potentially. Maybe that's what I'm seeing. Not so much here in Silesia. Yeah, the places where they have big garrisons, it doesn't matter, of course, but that is still worth keeping an eye on. And that's also just using regular Inquisitors. Eventually, I haven't built any yet, but eventually, let's see if I can show you an example. Is this the building? No. Have I not built any monasteries here? No, I haven't. Okay. Where can I show you an example of this? I know I just saw the building too. Here it is, the reliquary. First off, pretty cool looking building. This is the upgrade to the monastery, and this is going to give +2 morale, so it's like worth building, even if you're just using it to train soldiers there. But then it also does allow you to train the Grand Inquisitors as well. So this is going to be miraculous objects and holy relics that provide a physical connection to the saints, and the truth of the Bible are wondrous indeed, and entirely worthy of being housed in great splendor. It significantly increases both the loyalty of the population and the morale of troops produced here. Okay, interesting. All right. And yeah, those Grand Inquisitors, as you can imagine, they did the jobs of regular Inquisitors, but just better. So they're going to be better at trying generals for heresy, and they're going to be better at raising zeal as well. So we haven't built any of these yet, but I will eventually. And then we have the cathedral as well. I'm pretty sure I can only build one of these. I think I can only build one of these, per faction, I think. And yeah, it's a good building, obviously. I'm probably going to build this in Wessex, just because it's like my capital, kind of. I don't have to, it's kind of thematic. And often the most beautiful building in a province, a cathedral is a hymn of praise and stone to the glory of God, as well as spreading the faith, the wonder, and pride it evokes hugely improve both the loyalty of the population and the morale of the troops produced here. And again, this is going to be a big morale boost. So I'm pretty sure this does stack with the reliquary, I think. So you do want this in a province that you're going to be training your best troops in. So like for me, like, I kind of would be tempted, actually, like now that I'm thinking about it, because one of my training here in Wessex, nothing basically. Mercia does have, like, the Billman, for instance, and I'm getting +1 Valor to Billman trained here in Mercia. And even though I did discuss earlier, in an earlier episode, I think just the last episode, that I was saying that maybe I will build up to getting, like, kind of a late medieval era armies with pikemen and guns at some point, and I'm still maybe going to do that, but on the other hand, the English army, because the English actually do have a kind of a unique army in this game, and I haven't, like, I spent so much time building up to it. By the time that I finally kind of got those units, there wasn't a lot of fighting to be had. Sure, I did use some Billmen in quite a few battles. I did use them. The Billmen were used against the Mongols in plenty of cases, and maybe in a couple battles here in Europe as well, possibly. But the Longbowmen really haven't had a chance to shine yet, and I think that if I do fight those battles, those late game battles, it's going to be really hard for me to not use Longbowmen. I do. It's the English unit, I should use that. So I might not use like a pike and shot late game army, which is also fine because I've done that before. It's, it can be, it's like the Danes. I did it for the Danes. The Danes don't really have an interesting roster, unfortunately. For the early game, they do. For the early game, they do have a lot of like Viking era units that came with the Viking invasion expansion. But then they are not available for the rest of the campaign after the early period. The only unique unit that is available after the early period is going to be the Viking unit, which is weird because that's the most, what's the word, like out of date unit, like the Vikings, even when the campaign starts at the year 1087, they're pretty outdated. And then it makes sense for like the Viking Jarls and Carls and Huskarls to like go outdated, and you go, yeah, that makes sense. But then the Vikings, you can use them the entire campaign. You're like, what? Why? What? It's the year 1453. Why can I still use Vikings? Other than that one unit, though, the Danish army is like a very standard Catholic army. So in that sense, I was like, yeah, I may as well do something interesting and fun for my late game armies. And I did use like a pike and shot army for that. But since the English do have an actual like interesting unit roster that does peak in the high period, sure. The Billmen and the Longbowmen are high area or era units, but if I just go the entire high era without really fighting a whole lot, I may as well just kind of use as armies for the late game. They will still be capable armies. I would say even that the late era like pike and shot kind of armies aren't that good. They are capable. I have used them. I find that they work better when you really depend on having dismounted chivalric knights as your real like killing unit for those armies, because the pikes and the guns don't do a whole lot. But having a couple of units of mounted chivalric knights and dismounted chivalric knights, yeah, you can win battles with those units for sure. But the rest of it's just for fun. With the English though, yeah, I might just go billmen and longbowmen. Why not? We're gonna fight some battles. We may as well do it with the units that are more interesting. So we'll see. Unless like some of you folks are really like, you really want to see the pike and shot, you might talk me into it. But if not, I might just do things my way. Oh, right. So as I was saying, the cathedral. So if I can only build one of them, I'm pretty sure it's weird that it doesn't say you can only build one. So I'm pretty sure you can only build one. And it's the prerequisite for the university. I don't think the university does anything. I think that's just one of those, it's a weird building that I think chains, like it's a chain to another building, but I don't think the university itself does anything. I could be wrong though. Yeah, it's the cathedral's a weird one. Like it's obviously, it's weird, like it spreads happiness and faith and everything. But by the time you can build it, you're not going to be having any issues with happiness. So you're like, all right, thanks. The +3 morale is obviously very good. Again, training cardinals is also, I think they take 2 turns to train. And since you've just built a building that can give you +3 morale for your fighting units, you're like, why would I train cardinals? Also just why anyway? I've used them. I've played around with them. They're, you know, they can really mass convert places to Catholicism, sure. So if you're having real issues against like an Orthodox or Muslim or Mongol faction, and you want to like, you know, cause some real religious unrest in their provinces, then yeah. But you could just be training soldiers with +3 morale too. Also, you can also get, this is going to generate 52 florins of income from the cathedral, which again, it's like, by the time you can build it, you're like, thanks. Why? Who cares? So it's a weird building. It is like, there's a lot of jank like that in this game, but the game's awesome. It's just, I feel like by the time they fleshed out the late, like the top tier kind of stuff in this game, I don't know. I kind of feel like a lot of these game designers were already working on Rome by then. And they just had like 5 guys just being like, yeah, just whatever. We'll just do this. I was like, all right, fine. Yeah, there's some weird buildings. I know there's at least one building that doesn't do anything. So here in Wessex, these are going to be yeah, these give titles. So the Constable's Palace, I could build this. Well, there's a Master Merchant. I just want that. Yeah, give me some more money for sure. The building looks awesome too. The buildings do look awesome. I like that. But then the Constable's Palace. So this is going to be, the term constable is a derivation from comes stabuli, the count or companion of the stables in Roman times. This office of high honor is concerned with the monarch's field armies, important tournaments, and all other matters military. The magnificence of the Constable's Palace reflects this high and mighty status. And it doesn't say anything about what it does. I think it gives a title, I'm pretty sure, right? And it's a prerequisite for the Marshal's Palace. And then we can also build the Admiralty, which is the same amount as the Constable's Palace. And so the office of Admiral gives its holder immense status as the Lord of the Sea and the leader of a nation's sea captains, although the holder may be only an honored landlubber. The duties can be onerous, but the titles, privileges, and the handsome Admiralty building more than compensate. And again, yeah, these buildings look really, really dope. So yeah, I'm just going to do Master Merchant, Constable's Palace, and then Admiralty. And then, yeah, I'll probably do a cathedral, I suppose, in Mercia. That probably makes the most sense. Oh, and finally, the Danes have taken Norway. Good for them. Good job, Danes. I'm so proud of you. They were trying this entire episode so far. They've just been attacking again and again and again. And I wasn't pointing it out because they weren't successful. I was like, all right, let's see what happens. They did it. They finally did it. Which means that I finally have a reason to put boats here in the Norwegian Sea, because now we can trade with them, because I wasn't trading with the rebels. I was technically at war with them. So, yeah, let's just get a couple barks going. I'll plop them into the Norwegian Sea. And then I'm trying to remember now. Okay, I'm still bordering Toulouse. They're still rebel. Alright, so I can't. I'm still enemies with them, right? Yeah, it's too bad. It's too bad I'm still enemies with the rebels. If it wasn't for Toulouse, I think that I could get that ceasefire with them and then start trading with rebels. No, I would have to leave the sea regions bordering Portugal. But still, that's fine. I could do that. And Castile as well. So yeah, it'd be nice. Italy, you want to take over Toulouse? You're welcome to it. Oh, for Pete's sake. Come on. So the Germans are going to be launching a crusade. And it's going to be traveling through Flanders on its way to Serbia. I feel like it doesn't need to go through Flanders, but whatever. Yeah, I'll allow it to pass. Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. Alright, so let's see. Killing other agents. Yes, 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 yes. And yeah, back and forth between the Poles and the Byzantines. But more forth for the Poles than back, for sure. Okay. Cool little monastery finished there in Edessa and Anjou. And the crusade declared by the Spanish against Syria. Okay, well, good luck with that. I know the Mongols don't have much, but actually, ooh, they might not have a lot of Mongol heavy cav left, actually. And then, yeah, the Germans are launching a crusade. Oh, wow, they're going to war against the Poles because they're excommunicated. Oh, okay, yeah, I was trying to remember. I'm so dumb. I was like, where's Serbia? Yeah, it's here. The Poles will own it. There we go. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you guys could have just, went this way. But, yeah, I guess they can use my navy to travel there, so that's one thing. That's interesting. So the Germans have gone to war with the Poles. I saw the Danes attack Saxony. Now, clearly they didn't achieve anything, but let me just check that. Okay, so they're not at war with the Germans. That's interesting. So I wonder if there was a rebellion there. They are allies with the Germans. Okay, so I wonder if they simply relieved them of a siege down here and helped the Germans fight off the rebellion that I had caused. Maybe that's what happened, because I was like, yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, no way, the Danes are attacking the Germans? Like, I just never seen them be so audacious before. I'm impressed by this. This is already impressive enough. They've taken Norway, no shit. And the Germans are sending a crusade against the Poles. I'm not going to have to lift a finger. I swear. I'm not going to... Like, the other factions are going to somehow take down the Poles for me. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. Now, are there any Mongol heavy cav? There are. There's 3 units right there. There's 2 units right there. And another 2 units. So that's... Yeah, that's 7 units of Mongol heavy cav. Like, that's not nothing. Now, the Spanish, though, have a lot of forces. They really do. They got these Knights of Santiago, which look... wait, those are Royal Knights. Why do they look different? Those are the Knights of Santiago. Okay, they look different, and they just kind of fooled me. Yeah, they look cool. And they have the same stats as Chivalric Knights, so they're pretty badass. And then, yes, a 4-star general as well. Brave beyond belief. No shit. All right, calm down, calm down. Their armies are like, yeah, they're good. They're good armies. They're Arbalesters. Or no, sorry, Arbalest? Yeah, Arbalesters. Yep, those are good. I don't think I even trained any of those. Just because I got my longbowman and it was like, yep, I'm good. Genetes are going to be good in the desert as well. They're pretty light. Chivalric men-at-arms, they might be a little too heavily armored for the desert. I'm not sure about that. Pavis units in the desert are, they have a rough time. They really have a rough time. They get tired so fast. I don't know if that gets counted into the auto-resolve calculations, though. Yeah, I don't know. Same thing with the order foot soldiers. They get pretty tired as well. The halberdiers, they have very heavy armor. So yeah, they really struggle in the desert. But still, I would imagine the Spanish could get it done. Where's that crusade? Halberdiers, so Order for Soldiers, 3-star, Knights of Santiago, some fanatics. Okay. Yeah, they probably will be able to defeat the Mongols. It would take a few attacks, I'd imagine. Yeah, I'm very curious. There's a lot that I'm very curious of because, like, yeah, I can sit here and just kind of pretend like I'm not here, you know, just get my head down. But eventually, things are going to come crashing down. It feels like maybe because the Poles haven't really been able to crack this yet. But you know, when they do, like, if the Spanish own Syria and then the Poles own Armenia, then would there be war between the Poles and the Spanish? Or would the Spanish decide that I'm a softer target by then? I mean, they can try. They can try. Same thing up here, you know, like I'll mess them up if they want to do that. Be my guest, Spain. And then same thing with you, Poles. Like, if you guys order me anywhere and decide that I'm the weaker target, like, yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, I'm very curious about this. Like, the Germans coming on in, eh? Can they even take this? Got some Pavis Arblasters, Feudal Men-at-Arms. That's kind of a beat-up army. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The Byzantines still hold Greece. I think I have 2 units in there. The poor Byzantines. Yeah, they're gonna probably have to lose Nicaea as well because these guys can probably relieve this siege, would be my guess. Let's check out this German crusade. What do they have? Yeah, longbowmen, you're welcome. Assholes, billmen as well. Teutonic Knights, those guys look badass. That looks awesome. I mean, just that army? I don't know. How much, what do they have? What's the total? 1,000 men? And then in Serbia, it's going to be 600 men. I mean, just soft numbers. The Germans might get it, but the Poles do have nearby armies that can reinforce as well. Humans have now mastered time, so there were 12 hours in a day from dawn to dusk. In summer, the hours are long, in winter, short. Time was measured in tomorrows, todays, and yesterdays, but no longer. The clock now strikes out the hours with heavenly regularity, making men work and trade to its fast beat, and work harder as a result. Again, I don't think that actually has any effect on the game. I don't think so. That would be my guess. But we did have the cannon foundry finished here in Normandy, so now I can start building these demi-culverins. Look at these guys, yeah. As the name suggests, demi-culverins are half the size of long-barreled culverins. They are small-bore weapons and usually fire a ball that weighs 3 to 4 kilograms. They are usually well-made and not too expensive, making them useful all-around weapons. Given that they are small, they can be emplaced easily. So yes, they cause fear, 3 turns to build, and then 325 to Florence to build them. And yeah, it's too bad that artillery takes 3, multiple. It's so weird, like, oh, it took 3 years. 3 years to build one of these? Sure. Yeah, sure. But let's get them going anyway. May as well. They're fun. They're good. They are good all around. They do work against structures, but they can actually. I feel like demi-culverins are like the first weapon, like artillery weapon, that can pretty reliably be used against anti-personnel. All of the non-gunpowder stuff is pretty haggard. The catapults can be used because they pivot. So they can be used. The trebuchets and the mangonels do not pivot, so they can't be used as anti-personnel weapons. The ballistas do pivot, but I don't think they can tilt. So it's weird if you put them on a hill. You would think that artillery on the hill is the place to put them, but it's like they can't tilt to shoot down the hill. They just kind of shoot straight, which means that they just kind of, shoot over the heads of the stuff they're shooting at. I think that's what's happening. or their accuracy is just really, really bad. But I wonder if they actually work better on flat ground, which is just so counterintuitive for using artillery units. But yeah, I think that when it comes to like reliably, you know, shooting against other units, the Demi Culverin is probably the first unit that that can perform that function. Oh yeah, can I actually build the thing? I can. Okay, so I do need the Cannon Foundry to build the Shipbuilders Guild. Got it. It doesn't say that, but now maybe I can remember it this time. So yeah, bigger vessels demand better shipyards to build and maintain them. This shipyard allows all but the largest and most powerful vessels to be constructed, and although maintenance means no more than beaching a ship so that the hull can be scraped, the skilled men from a shipyard are needed. So yeah, this is going to allow us to build cogs. And where do I get cogs with +1 val? Is it here? Cogs +1 valor? Yes. All right. Oh wait, no, that's Wessex. Okay, Normandy. Fine. 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 I'll get. Man, I'm building a lot of shit here in Wessex. I may as well queue up that Cannon Foundry. Yeah. Let's prioritize. Let's do that. Prioritize that. Let's get that Shipbuilders Guild as soon as that is available. Now, because the German Crusade was initially successful, I mean, for now it's there, right? So I think, I don't know, it's hard to say. I think that if it does get attacked right now, before it finishes taking the province, I think that it can. I think that it is allowed to go back to Flanders, I think. Which would suck. It does, because I had to move a lot of troops out to get them retrained to different provinces. I also brought troops in to make sure that Flanders is, you know, held strong. Just in case the French started thinking, you know, getting some funny thoughts. I see that look in their eyes. They're thinking about it. They're just seeing Flanders. They saw that it just got, you know, completely wiped out by that crusade. And they were thinking about it. So I brought some troops in. They were just sitting around. I've been kind of lazy with my, I don't know, keeping stuff in, you know, looking nice and orderly in this campaign. Yeah, apologies for that. It's kind of an eyesore, isn't it? I will, as I was saying, I'll eventually get around to it. I don't know, I kind of like getting through these turns right now. But eventually I will make things look a lot cleaner, eventually. But for now, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much time I want to spend on like getting things perfect and nice and pretty here in Flanders, because if that German Crusade just comes right on back, then we're back to losing troops. Yeah, that's going to be tough. It's going to be very annoying if that continues to happen. The Italians are now making some power moves down here in Iberia, taking over Portugal and Castile, and they had already owned Morocco and Leon. But yeah, that's impressive. So that's their navies, right? Yeah, they got some navies linking them around. So yeah, they can bring troops on from. So they're only holding Milan, Provence, Corsica, Sardinia. And they do have Sicily as well. Okay. And then yeah, these provinces over here. They're still not at war with the Spanish. No, they're just taking over Iberia. This is interesting. This is why I love this game. We just get stuff that it's like not. I don't want to call it's like not so wacky in the sense that oh, I don't know. For instance, I haven't played Medieval 2 yet, but I'm aware that, for example, like the Portuguese just love to attack Britain, and I think specifically it's Wales, and it's like clockwork that kind of like happens every single like campaign, is my understanding, and that's like kind of. I don't know, that's like wacky to the sense where it's like, if it happens every time, it's like, oh, it gets old, you know? Like, why is that happening? But when it's kind of like a different, you know, thing, and it makes sense, like, it's not like the AI is kind of stuck on doing the same thing every time. What they're doing makes sense. They're taking, you know, advantage of the opportunities. And if they have the money and there are rebel factions or rebel armies that can be bribed, then they can take over these provinces and expand from there. This is all logical, right? And so it's really nice that there are these functions in this game that can be used by the AI too. It's not just the player, it's the AI that does this as well. One of my favorite things is when reemergence happen in a province that's not a home province. You know, like if the Germans get wiped out, but at one point they had held Bulgaria, for instance, just because a crusade was going through it, you can have a Bulgarian reemergence of the Germans, which is just really, that's not so, like, you do have stuff like that in history happen. So like it's really interesting. Like that's what happened with the Umayyads, right? Like here in Spain, you know, the Umayyads were wiped out way back over here, but then one of their guys, well, the only remaining guy got away, and he started back the Emirate of Cordoba, and he was actually a very good ruler. I think him, and his son Abdul Rahman the first and the second, or no, not the second, but the third. I think it was a pretty good dynasty, I think. But it's just one of those like wacky like historical things that you wouldn't expect that to happen, but then in this game you do get these things that can happen like that. It's very well done. And the Germans are back here in Flanders. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, I just noticed that. 700 men. And they're just going to keep taking men from me. So how is that going to work? Like, how are they, if they're just going to keep on coming back to Flanders and then hoovering up my men, then how are they going to actually go away? You know? Do I just have to go to, where was it? Was it Friesland? Might have been Friesland. There's a chapter house here. So this might be where the crusade marker came from. There's nothing here in Saxony. There is something here in Lorraine, so it could be Lorraine as well. Do I have to go to war against the Germans? I don't want to, but this is annoying. Yeah, it's always, the thing is it's always like temporary too, because as soon as they build it back up again, but I mean, you know, they can just do it again. Because they have a chapter house here in Franconia as well. Yeah, it's hard to say. How much longer will I tolerate this? Yeah, for now, I don't know. I mean, for this episode, yeah, I'll tolerate it, but yeah, with the Germans, I could do a little like smash up, just smash them up, destroy their chapter houses, at least in the neighboring provinces, and if that's enough to destroy this crusade, maybe that'll cause, yeah, he has 3 influence. He's 39 years old, so he has a lot of life to live, in theory, and that could cause a civil war, and that could be enough for us to get a ceasefire with the Germans. Yeah, I'll think about it. Now my king has died, and I think he died at the age of 60. 60? Yeah, 60, I think. Okay, so my heir is alive, and I wonder where he's going to be crowned. The king of Aragon has died as well. Okay, and the Spanish crusade has not yet attacked Syria yet, although it's coming. There's a lot there, so they might win. Master Merchant finished here in Tripoli, so some more money for us. Drinking Den finished in Scotland. I think that's +2 Valor Assassins, I think. Then Master Merchant is finished in Flanders. Church in Brittany, and Great Thinker. So one of the schoolmen, John Duns Scotus, has worked hard to reconcile the philosophy of Aristotle with the teachings of the church. Haven't we all? He has often had a great rationalizing effect, although many of his arguments are too subtle for the great mass of the faithful. Zeal is reduced in Scotland, Northumbria, Mercia, and Wales. Okay. Okay. Now I saw a German crusade going to not Serbia, actually. It's going to Georgia. So this is, its objective is Serbia, but it went to Georgia instead. Okay. Is there Polish boats in the way? Is that what's going on? I'm trying to look. I'm trying to see, where are there there's like no Polish boats in the Mediterranean that I'm seeing. No, there must be Polish boats somewhere. I think that's is that Polish? That's Danish. Danes, Poles. So there's like one Polish boat there. Okay, I wonder, yeah, well, why? Did they get lost? They're like, Yeah, this looks like Serbia. It's like really close. You know, they're like, yeah, no, that's definitely, we made it, guys. We made it. It's kind of like the Fourth Crusade going to Constantinople. They're like, yeah, this is Jerusalem. This is what it looks like, right? This is what Muslims look like. they're like never seen the Greek before. They're like, yeah, no, it's clearly this is what Muslims look like. And what do we have going on over here? Unrest in Bavaria. So who's attacking? Who are the Germans? The Poles attack, and then what's the unrest? Did the Germans attack the Poles? Not sure. Galley was sunk in a storm. Luckily, I'm not using galleys, so that's not me. Not my problem. No, this is my problem. It was an assassins to bodyguards here in Cyrenaica. I didn't even attack anything. Gosh darn it! Leave me alone. Okay, man of honor, severe alcoholic, and that's fine. All right. Yeah, so that was a pretty peaceful episode, and I loved it. I'm loving it. Are you guys trying to find Serbia? You guys need help? You stop. You keep ending up back in Flanders. You're really good at finding Flanders. You're great at that. But man, you're really wiping my shit out, and I don't like it. This is really bothering me. So I don't know. What's your attrition at? You're down at 675. Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. This is cool though. The Italians taking over Iberia is pretty neat. And we will. Why haven't you attacked yet? You're just hanging out in Arabia. Like, they're not that scary, guys. You've never seen a Mongol before? Come on, go get them. Go get them. All right, but that's been a pretty. I liked it. I enjoyed this episode. I know it's been pretty quiet recently, but I like the ebb and flow of this game. I really do. You know, I do like the really tense moments, but I also do really like the quiet moments as well. I think it's very peaceful, and I think it's something that that Rome lacks. You know, in Rome, when you are trying to play these peaceful moments, it's like you're just getting attacked the entire time. Like, even if you're trying to take it easy, your neighbor's like, no, fuck you. They just like attack you the entire. You're like, why? I'm not doing anything wrong, you know. Whereas in this game, you can really kind of go like, you know, I've been at war with the Aragonese for centuries, and they're like not going to touch me because I'm too strong. And same with the French as well. So it's nice. It's a really nice change of pace where you can have these moments in this game and just kind of chill out and just kind of hang out. So I know it might not be the most entertaining thing to watch, but this is my most watched campaign, like by far. So I guess I shouldn't worry about it because I think some of you folks do enjoy this. So if you are one of those folks who enjoy this, thank you. I'm glad that you're along for this because this is pretty fun for me, and it's nice having y'all along for it as well. So before I go, I just wanted to say that if you are enjoying these videos and you would like to support the channel, then consider subscribing, liking, and sharing. It all helps immensely. So until next time, this has been Conestep playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.